Hey there, welcome back to the podcast with myself, Joseph Clough. For more information about me, go ahead and check out my website, which is josephclough.com, and also my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Joseph's fan page, and twitter.com/JosephClough. If you sign up to Facebook and Twitter, you'll be able to get lots of free updates, lots of giveaways and prizes and competitions, as well as my thoughts on life, on how you can make wonderful changes. And we've got over 10,000 people on Facebook now, so if you really want to go and inspire yourself, and that is the place to be, it really is. So right now I'm in Samai in Thailand, or Sumaya, it's something like that. And at this very moment, there's a power cut. So I thought it's a perfect time, with no air conditioning, so there's no sound there, to do a nice podcast and giving you some helpful hints to make positive changes in your life. So let's just say, for example, you're feeling very low energy, or you're depressed, or you're unhappy, frustrated about something. I want to give you some simple tips of how you can change your state. And these are very easy to apply into your life. And it's something that I always do myself. I mean, end of the day, I am human, I have issues, and the way I see it is, as soon as they arise, I want to be able to take instant action to be able to change my emotional state, because I know ultimately that you and I are completely in control of our minds. And when we take responsibility for that, and by responsibility I mean knowing that you're ultimately in control, and ultimately that you are connected with your unconscious mind to be able to make changes, and also to be able to take action on instigating change, making the powerful changes in your life. So let's just say you have an issue in your life, you're not feeling that great about yourself, maybe you're not feeling that worthy or good enough, you're just having a general low energy. Here's how to change your emotional state. I'm going to just give you a few tips on how to do that. One thing is to be able to utilize every modality that you have. And by modality, I'm talking about visual, our auditory, which is our listening, our kinesthetic, which is our feeling, even our smell and taste, our five senses. We need to be able to change our emotional state via one of those, maybe all of them, or maybe all of them combined. So you want to be able to change your state by changing how you think, how you feel, how you see, what you're hearing internally and externally, and even smell and taste. So what I usually do, one option is to surround yourself with inspiring people. You are the sum of the closest people around you. And sometimes some people around us are not adding the right type of value into our life. And I'm not going to say it's easy to do this, but if someone in your life is actually causing you stress or causing you unhappiness, it's really important to get out of that situation. We have to take responsibility. It's not our job to change anyone. And we may have to take that hard line call and say, look, this person is not adding value to my life. I've tried to help, or I've tried to surround myself with this person or in this work situation, whatever it may be, but it's not working. So we have to make the decision to sometimes cut people out of our life to allow more people to come into our life. As I said, the famous quote or sentence that you are the sum of the closest people around you. So if you're surrounding yourself with negative people, or worriers, or manic depressives, or low self-esteem, or people who are angry, people who are always in the victim mode, that can actually rub onto us, because ultimately, consciously and absolutely unconsciously, we're picking up those types of traits. I see it time and time again. And it's really important that we take responsibility to be able to change our situation. When you're unable to help that person, or if they're unable to change, we have to make that change for ourselves. And sometimes it is saying, look, this person is not adding value to my life, and it's really important to me that I'm happy. End of the day, you are number one in your life. You are absolutely number one. And you have to look after your own well-being. There's no point sacrificing your health, your happiness, your peace, and your love in your life if people in your life are causing you to feel the opposite. So that is one way to be able to change the people that we surround ourselves with. If you look at entrepreneurs, entrepreneurs usually surround themselves with a like-minded people because they can bounce off ideas, they can actually resonate with that person. But if you can't resonate with someone in your life who's adding negativity in your life, ultimately at an unconscious level, our energy will begin to match that person. So therefore, we become negative. We become stressed or sad or unconfident. So it's absolutely important to be able to look after number one, which is you, because you are so special and so wonderful. So that is ultimately making a change in our environment. So that is actually outside of our senses, but it includes all of them really. But some real quick ways of changing your emotional state straight away is through sounds, listening to inspiring music. As you listen to things which motivate you, which move you, you will absolutely change your emotional state. You've had experiences of this, when maybe you've been in a car or you've been walking down the road and suddenly you hear some music and it regresses you back to that most wonderful time, or maybe an unhappy time. But ultimately, your body remembers that music, and because it has an association to a time in your life. So you may want to be able to think of a music which really inspires you, which causes you to move your energy inside. And the same thing for our visuals. So watching inspiring things, watching wonderful inspirational movies. That's an amazing one for me. I love my movies. I don't watch TV, but I love my movies. Because when I watch a movie, and I always go for like the true ones, the inspirational ones, it moves me and it motivates me, it lifts me, and it causes me to be able to see other points of views. It causes me to change my perception of what I'm going through, to get deeper learnings. So we can surround ourselves by listening to inspirational music. We can watch movies. There's many different types of things we can do, even in changing our internal dialogue. So when you begin to catch yourself speaking negatively on the inside, and that can be like having an argument with someone else in your head, like someone you're about to see, or an issue in the past, or maybe you're just kind of beating yourself up. Whenever you have that internal dialogue, it's your signal, when you become conscious of it, it's your signal to change it and go, stop. No, I'm not going to think this way. And then we start to change over or turn around and flip that internal dialogue on its head and start to speak up in a way, in a motivating way, even if you don't believe it straight away. I mean, let's put it this way. I used to have a low self-esteem, and just by myself when I was younger, I used to just look in the mirror, and originally I'd think, oh, I don't really like myself and things like that, but I made a decision to go, okay, every time I look in the mirror, I'm going to say, I love you. And it didn't resonate at first, but I kept on doing it, and it kept on doing it. And it caused me eventually to, every time I see myself, to feel good about myself. And the exact same thing goes for your internal dialogue. So whenever you catch yourself having that negative self-talk, it's your signal to begin to turn it around. Even if it doesn't feel authentic at first, it won't do, because maybe it feels natural. It's become a part of our identity not to feel good about ourselves or to feel unhappy. And the same thing for anxiety. To me, anxiety is your signal to focus upon what you want. So that is a great way, if you're getting anxious, to change your point of view and focus on what you want. Because when you think of anxiety, anxiety is having thoughts and feelings about all the things you don't want to happen in your life. And there's a positive intention behind that. Ultimately, your body is trying to prepare yourself to what might happen in the future. But unfortunately, it doesn't feel very good. It causes us anxiety. So what I want you to do, as soon as you get that worry or that self-doubt or that anxiety, to turn it on its head again and focus on your positive outcome. How would you like to act and react? How would you like to be? Have that in the forefront of your mind. Think about it, see it, feel it, hear it in your mind. And in time, whether that be in 5 minutes, whether that be in an hour, maybe a week, maybe a month, but it's absolutely worth it, isn't it? If you were to say to yourself, well, in 1 month's time, I'm absolutely going to love myself and love my life by carrying out some of these principles, would you be willing to do it? Of course you would. So you need to commit yourself to, as soon as these signals pop up, to change your emotional state. So, like I said, feeling down, put some inspirational music on. It will cause your body to change its emotional state, because music is resonance. And when we get resonance in something inspirational, it resonates inside of us and lifts our physical energy up, even our thoughts. Same thing with films. If you watch a film, you resonate with it, and it causes you to change your mindset. When you start to change your internal dialogue, you're changing your energy. You're creating a new pathway in the brain. Think about it this way. Imagine an overgrown garden. Let's just say we go down the one route of that garden. What happens after a while? Well, it becomes well trodden down, doesn't it? It becomes really well trodden down, and it's easy to go down that pathway. Now think of that overgrown area of being your brain. The more times you think and feel something, it becomes more ingrained and well trodden down. And that's just biology. The neural networks, the synaptic nerves becoming closer and connecting and firing off more frequently. But the great news is that you can begin to fire off the new pathway. So rather going down that route of that garden, you go down a new route. So you're going down a new route to the brain. So when you start to make those pattern interrupts, as soon as you experience that negativity, your brain will start to remember this. And after a period of time, you won't have to do it consciously. Your unconscious mind will start to do it. I mean, another personal experience, when I used to blush, I began to change my emotional state. And at first, I had to consciously think about it. But in time, my body began to pick up on this new pattern, this new habit. So I didn't have to do it anymore. So my body naturally molded itself into this new way of being. So there's many ways that we can change our emotional state. Through our visual, our sound, our feeling, our self-talk, and really, and I mean another one as well, is how you look. And by look, I mean when you're walking, when you're out, pay attention to where your eyes are. Most people are unhappy. Their eyes begin to drift down. And in NLP terms, they say that it's going into our kinesthetic, our feelings, and we can get trapped there. So if we're thinking negatively and our eyes begin to drift down, our body starts to feel that negativity. So what you do is when you start walking, you begin to look at eye level or above. That causes the brain to go into visual pictures, and you can't feel negative feelings when you're thinking more visually. The other way, which was very similar to my previous podcasts and so on, is ultimately being in this moment. When you start to pay attention to this moment and you start to live in the now, you begin to free your mind of clutter, free your mind of anxiety and worry. You begin to completely release it, and I'll tell you exactly why. Issues, whether that be emotions, whether that be worries, whether that be doubts, whether that be limiting beliefs, they're past experiences that our unconscious mind are remembering because they become habits. Okay, so these are past things that your unconscious mind has learned, and it brings it into wherever we are right now. But it's like a part of our energy is still trapped in the past. And the same thing with anxiety. But this time, rather the past, although it can be a little bit about the past, is thinking about the future. So we're creating hallucinations of what we might what might go wrong, what we don't want to happen. So we have this future-based thinking and this past-based thinking.